All right, let's talk about habits. We've all been there, right? You decide you're going to start a new one, full of motivation. And then a week later, poof, it's gone. But what if I told you the secret isn't more willpower? It's about having a smarter system. We're going to get into the science behind making habits that actually stick. So get this. A massive 92% of all New Year's resolutions, they fail. It's a story we all know way too well. We start out with the absolute best intentions. We're going to exercise more, read more, eat healthier. But somewhere around the way, things just fall apart. So you have to wonder, why? Why does this keep happening? Why do our best laid plans just seem to fizzle out? Are we all just kind of bad at this? Well, I've got good news. The answer is a big fat no. The problem isn't what you probably think it is. To really understand why, we first need to look at a super common pitfall. I call it the habit trap. This is where we're going to uncover the real reason our good intentions don't always turn into real action. And here is the big idea, the main takeaway. The problem isn't you. It is your system. Let me say that again because it's important. The problem isn't a personal flaw or that you lack motivation. It's that you're trying to play the game with the wrong rulebook. Success isn't about being some kind of willpower superhero. It's about being a smart architect of your own daily life. So, okay, how do we become that smart architect? Well, that leads us right into our next section, engineering better habits. Right now, we're going to build a framework, a really reliable system for success. And this system, it's built on 4 simple scientific laws. You can think of them like levers you can pull to basically reprogram your brain. They are make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Let's dive into each one. First up, law number 1, make it obvious. You see, every single habit we have starts with a cue, some little trigger in your environment that tells your brain, hey, time to do that thing. So our goal for building a good habit becomes really, really simple. You have to make that cue completely impossible to miss. You want to literally design your world so that the right choice is the most obvious one you can make. So what does that actually look like? Well, say you want to work out in the morning. Don't just hope you'll feel like it. The night before, lay your gym clothes out right where you can't possibly miss them. Or if you want to read more before bed, don't just leave the book on a shelf somewhere, put it right on your pillow. You're making the starting line for your habit totally unmissable. All right, so once a habit is obvious, what's next? Law number 2, make it attractive. Our brains are hardwired to chase pleasure and rewards. If a habit feels like a total chore, you are always going to struggle with it. The real trick is to make it something you actually want to do. And there's this really powerful strategy to do this called temptation bundling. It sounds kind of fancy, but it's a super simple idea. You just link an action you want to do with a habit you need to do. And this is so easy to apply. For example, maybe you love a particular podcast. Well, from now on, you only let yourself listen to it while you're on your daily walk. Or are you dying to see the next episode of that show you're binging? Great. You can only watch it while you're on the treadmill. See what you're doing? You're turning a duty into a treat. Okay, but even if a habit is obvious and attractive, you can still fail if there's just too much friction involved. And that brings us to law number 3, make it easy. We humans are designed to follow the path of least resistance. So instead of fighting that instinct, we're going to use it to our advantage. The whole key here is to reduce the friction. That's just the number of steps or the amount of effort that's standing between you and your good habit. The easier a habit is to start, the more likely you are to actually do it. It's really that simple. Now, the most effective technique here is the 2-minute rule. You basically scale down your habit so it takes less than 2 minutes to do. So your goal isn't go for a 5-mile run. No, your new goal is put on my running shoes. That's it. Your goal isn't meditate for 20 minutes. It's sit and breathe for just 60 seconds. Anyone can do that, right? You're just mastering the art of showing up. And finally, the law that really locks it all into place. Law number 4, make it satisfying. Our brains are literally designed to repeat behaviors that give us an immediate reward. But here's the problem. For a lot of good habits, the rewards are way off in the future. Meanwhile, bad habits, oh, their rewards are instant. So that means you have to find a way to give yourself an immediate payoff. That feeling of success needs to happen right now to tell your brain, hey, that felt good. Let's do that again tomorrow. This doesn't have to be some big, complicated thing. A super powerful reward is just tracking your habit. Get a calendar, and every day you complete your task, you draw a big, satisfying X on it. The goal then becomes, don't break the chain. Or, after you finish a tough study session, reward yourself with one funny video. It's that small, immediate dose of satisfaction that really cements the habit loop. Okay, but what about the other side of the coin? How do we get rid of the habits we don't want? Well, this is where this whole system becomes truly elegant. You don't need a new set of rules at all. You simply invert the 4 laws. Instead of making a good habit obvious, you make a bad habit invisible. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't rely on willpower. Just get it out of the house. To make a bad habit unattractive, focus on its downsides. And instead of making it easy, you make it difficult. Want to watch less TV? Unplug it after each use and take the batteries out of the remote. Adding just a few extra steps of friction can be enough to stop a bad habit right in its tracks. This brings us to our final, and maybe our most important section. All of these laws are powerful, but they work best when you just remember one simple principle. Start small, win big. And look, if you only take one single thing away from this explainer, let it be that powerful tool we discussed, the 2-minute rule. Master the art of just showing up. A habit has to be established before it can ever be improved. These tiny changes are what lead to remarkable results over time. It's not about one heroic effort. It's about small, consistent actions that compound into a whole new identity. So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Using these laws, what is one habit you want to build? And more importantly, what will your first tiny 2-minute step be to make it happen? Because that's how real change actually begins.